Mayor, I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Elmwood Park Mayor and Council to order for July 14th, 2016 at 8:04 p.m. On roll call, council members Coletti.
Here.
Churdo is absent due to vacation. Dombrowski. Here. Giandomenico is absent due to a work-related commitment. Martino is absent due to vacation. Bonsino.
Here.
Mayor Mola.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Will everyone rise for our prayer and flag salute? O God, our Father, we ask you to bless our meeting in your fatherly care and protection. Please remove all prejudice from our hearts and plant therein a keen sense of justice and a greater love for you, our neighbor. Guide us in our deliberations so our decisions will always please you and bring peace and happiness to our community. Amen.
Amen.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Whereas Chapter 231, Public Laws, State of New Jersey, requires the commencement of the very meeting, a statement by the presiding officer. Now therefore be advised the meeting requires for this meeting have been met by posting an annual notice in the Record of Hackensack and the Herald News of Woodland Park, and by posting a notice in the office of the Borough Clerk as well as in a public place and within the municipal building and notifying interested citizens. Said notice was posted on January 1, 2016. Ladies and gentlemen, this meeting is being videoed. It will be on Channel 77, Tuesday, noon, Thursday, 11 a.m., Friday, 5:30 a.m. And of course, it's also on our website.
Mayor, we'll move on to the approval of minutes from April 28th, 2016 work session, June 2nd, 2016 regular meeting, June 9th, 2016 work session, June 9th, 2016 executive session, and the June 16th, 2016 regular meeting.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Coletti, second.
Second.
Mr. Dombrowski, discussion?
Yes, Mayor, just the June 16th meeting, I'll abstain. I was ill that evening.
Okay. Call the roll, Mr. Clerk.
On roll call, council members Coletti.
Yes.
Churdo is absent. Dombrowski.
Yes.
Giandomenico is absent. Martino is absent. Bonsino.
Yes, with that one exception.
Mr. Casmo, just a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't have our borough clerk here today, borough attorney here today. His father passed away and he's at the wake with the entire family and the firm. So if there are any questions that are related to the attorney, I'm sure we can get somebody's in the office on Monday. Thank you.
Mayor, at this time, we'll move on to ordinances on first reading. Resolution R 248-16, introduce ordinance 16-13 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled a bond ordinance to appropriate an additional sum of $107,200 for the undertaking of streetscape improvements to Market Street in, by, and for the Borough of Elmwood Park in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such an additional appropriation and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds, be passed and adopted on first reading. Be it resolved that final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, August 18th, 2016, at 8 p.m. or soon thereafter, as same can be heard, at which time and place all persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk be and he is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper. A notice of introduction and final hearing is required by law.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Bonsino, second.
Second.
Mr. Dombrowski, discussion? Call the roll, please.
On roll call, council members Coletti.
Yes.
Churdo is absent. Dombrowski.
Yes.
Giandomenico is absent. Martino is absent. Bonsino.
Yes.
Motion carries. Mayor, our second ordinance on first reading tonight is Resolution 249-16, introduce ordinance 16-14 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled a bond ordinance to authorize the making of a public improvement and/or the acquisition of new equipment, automotive vehicles, including original apparatus and equipment in, by, and for the Borough of Elmwood Park in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $357,500 to pay the cost thereof, and to make a down payment and to issue the issuance of bonds to finance such an appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in the anticipation of the issuance of such bonds, be passed and adopted on first reading. Be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, August 18th, 2016, at 8 p.m. or soon thereafter, as same can be heard, at which time and place all persons interested in said ordinance may be heard. Be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk be and is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper. A notice of introduction and final hearing is required by law.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Coletti, second.
Second.
Mr. Bonsino, discussion?
Yes, Mayor, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, I will be voting no on this reading, on this ordinance today. And the reason why is because it has not been proven to me that the Elmwood Park DPW needs a large capacity dump truck. I agree that our DPW can use a new Mason truck and a pickup truck and possibly other smaller vehicles, but not a large capacity dump truck that is needed. $220,000 of this $357,500 is going to be spent on a large dump truck. We have two 40-yard containers sitting down at the DPW in which are larger capacity than the large dump truck that they're looking to buy. And these containers sit down at the DPW not being used almost every day. Why spend $220,000 of taxpayer money on a large dump truck that will sit in the yard not being used just like the large containers do today? If there is a need for a large dump truck, then why are we not using the 40-yard containers? It is my opinion, and it is the taxpayers' money, that we should not be spending this $220,000 on a large dump truck. So I will be voting no today, and I encourage my council members to also vote no on this ordinance.
And Mayor, if I may?
Yes.
The council at length discussed the items that our DPW director was asking for, and we had 3 separate meetings bringing him in with detailed sketches and graphs of how this dump truck would serve us and partially pay itself off as far as less loads going to the dumps using a smaller truck, less man-hours in that truck going to the dumps, plus numerous other advantageous uses for this truck. I have complete faith in our director. He's not the type of a person to come in and, in the construction business, we call it be equipment happy just for the sake of having equipment, but he comes in when he needs equipment.
Thank you. Any other?
Yes, Mayor. Just to follow up on Councilman Coletti, we did question our Superintendent of Public Works extensively, and in fact asked him to do a cost-benefit analysis to justify the need to purchase the truck. And he did do that. He went back, he had analyzed how he deploys his staff, how he currently utilizes his equipment, and to my satisfaction, he demonstrated that it would be appropriate to make that purchase. So that's why I'm voting yes tonight.
Thank you. My comments on that is I think we do need the truck. The last truck of this size that we had lasted over 25 years, so the amount of money we're paying for it, extrapolated over that period of time, is insignificant. Plus, if we have another major snowstorm and we need a truck of this size to help us push that snow around, it's absolutely needed. Call the roll, please.
On roll call, council members Coletti?
Yes.
Churdo is absent. Dombrowski?
No.
Giandomenico is absent. Martino is absent. Bonsino?
Yes.
Mayor, our final ordinance on first reading tonight is Resolution 250-16, introduce ordinance 16-15 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled, an ordinance amending ordinance 2-63.5, the Code of the Borough of Elmwood Park, entitled Outside Police Contracting Service Fee Schedule, will be passed and adopted on first reading. Be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, August 18th, 2016 at 8 p.m. or soon thereafter, same can be heard, at which time and place all persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk be, and he is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction. A final hearing is required by law.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Coletti, second.
Second?
Mr. Dombrowski, discussion? This ordinance increases the amount of money that we will charge for an administrative fee, for the vehicles we use. If people are coming in and we need them for the roads, and have police out there helping us keep traffic in the right position. It's $45. It was at one time, I think, what, 5? Keith?
Yes, it was at 5, correct.
And then it went up to 15?
15.
And really, the amount of money, and you've seen that over the last few months with public service coming in. The cars are out there, the lights are on, the rotors are running. It's costing us a lot of money, so we're going up to $45 per hour to use them. Call the roll, please.
On roll call, Councilmembers Coletti?
Yes.
Churdo is absent. Dombrowski?
Yes.
Domenico is absent. Martino is absent. Bonsino?
Yes.
Motion carries. Mayor, moving on to the consent agenda, we have Resolution R-251-16, payment of bills, Resolution R-252-16, payment of escrow, Resolution 253-16, confirmation of payroll, Resolution 254-16, adopt corrective action plan for the 2015 municipal audit, Resolution 255-16, authorize refunds for the Recreation Department programs, Resolution 265-16, authorize refunds for the Building Department, Resolution 257-16, authorize current cost estimate number 1 for boulevard improvements, sections 8, 9, and 10 for AJM Contractors, Inc., Resolution 258-16, authorize current cost estimate number 1 for the Market Street Phase 2 streetscape project for JC Contracting Incorporated. Resolution 259-16, change order number 2, Market Street Force Main improvements. Resolution 260-16, approve block party requests for 15th Avenue and Parkview Avenue. Resolution 261-16, authorize shared services agreement for the before and after school care program with the borough, with the Elmwood Park Board of Education. Resolution 262-16, appoint seasonal property maintenance inspector Nicholas Fedorsen in the Building Department. Resolution 263-16, appoint seasonal laborers to the Department of Public Works. Resolution 264-16, authorization to execute open space grant agreement with the County of Bergen, Cherry Hill Playground Park improvements. Resolution 265-16, authorize property maintenance for the Department of Public Works. Resolution 266-16, authorize the execution of exemption status for the Elmwood Park Fire Department firefighters. Resolution 267-16, renew liquor licenses for the 2016-2017 license term. Resolution 268-16, resolution certifying designated bus stops on county roadways. Resolution 269-16, resolution in support of Senate Bill S-2254 and Assembly Bill A-3821, which affirms the legislative intent of the Fair Housing Act. Resolution 270-16, authorize execution of shared services agreement with the Board of Education for school security officers and the Elmwood Park Police Department. Resolution 271-16, authorize cost estimate number 1, demolition of the Cinco Paint Building. Resolution 272-16, change order number 1, Market Street Streetscape Phase 2, and Resolution 273-16, a resolution to approve the above listed consent agenda.
Motion, please.
Mayor, before we do that, if I may, through you, ask our Borough Clerk, R-26916, can you confirm that does not have anything to do with our current COA situation?
This resolution, Councilman, is not specific to Elmwood Park's COA situation, which we will actually coincidentally talk about in executive session this evening. This is in support of 2 pending bills before the legislature in Trenton.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Call the roll, please.
We need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Dombrowski and Villasino. Call the roll.
On roll call, Councilmembers Coletti?
Yes.
Churdo is absent. Dombrowski?
Yes.
Domenico is absent. Martino is absent. Bonsino?
Yes.
Motion carries. Mayor, moving on to departmental reports, we have the Department of Public Works report for May of 2016.
Motion receive and file.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Villasino, second.
Second.
Mr. Coletti, discussion, all in favor? Opposed, so ordered.
And Mayor, we have raffle applications for the St. Leo's Roman Catholic Church 50/50 application and St. Leo's Games and Wheels application.
Motion,
So moved.
Mr. Dombrowski, second.
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 Mr. Coletti,
Oh, you're here.
it was a tie. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
On roll call, Councilmembers Coletti?
Yes.
Churdo is absent. Dombrowski?
Yes.
Domenico is absent. Martino is absent. Bonsino?
Yes.
Motion carries. Mayor, that concludes my portion of the agenda.
Council reports, Mr. Dombrowski.
Certainly. Thank you, Mayor. The Board of Health is currently on a summer session. They did not have a meeting this month, so there's nothing to report there. On our Elmwood Park Regional Chamber of Commerce, I know it's a ways away, but folks, October 30th, they'll be having their bus trip to the Sands Casino in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. The last 2 were great, a lot of fun. I highly suggest that if you're interested in going to the casinos, this is a great trip. Again, it's $40 per person. You get $20 back in casino cash, $5 back in food voucher. If anybody's looking to reserve a spot on the bus, I believe it's a total of 50 seats that are available. Please call 201-794-0966. And then, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to bring up about the Elmwood Park Library. the Elm Park Library Board, which the mayor is a voting member of, has almost $2 million of taxpayer money sitting in a capital improvement fund. For over 4 years and 7 months, they have been going back and forth saying that they're going to build an addition and fix the problems of the building. I want to bring you back to last year, April 2015, when I showed you pictures, and there was also a write-up in the paper, in Bergen Record, as well as the community news about that. And I'd just like to bring you back to remind you what those pictures were. As you can see, the sidewalk is deteriorating. The curb is gone. More curb issues. And the bigger problem is the hole in the roof that sits there where the soffit has fallen down. Well, in the article, the mayor is quoted that the library board is addressing the issues. I can assure you, from attending almost every library meeting this past year and a half, what they call addressing the issues seems to actually be a circus. The library members are not allowed to speak or call the architect directly. The board president last meeting stated on record that only he, the president, Mayor Mola, or Jamie Silverman, an appointed alternate to the board, may speak to the architect because they are not on the building committee. Ladies and gentlemen, the library board approved and passed that all members of the library board are on the building committee. Yet the president will not allow them or others, and just a select few are allowed to talk to the architect. Last year, I and a bipartisan majority of council members got fed up with the lack of progress and passed an ordinance to deem the library a municipal building, and no construction could take place unless authorized by the council. The mayor then performed what we call a Mola maneuver and vetoed the ordinance. We, the bipartisan majority, did this because for the past 4 years, all the library board has done is sit there and seem to kick the can down the road. Well, I was there today, folks, and I'd like to show you some pictures from today. You can go down there yourself and take a look at it. We still have broken up sidewalks. Sorry. Even more. Now it's getting worse. Now it's going to the other side. We have broken up curbing. And ladies, I know this is a terrible picture and hard to see because it's a little dark, but we still have a hole in the roof. The only thing they did was put screening over it to keep the rodents out. But there's still a hole in the roof. Remember, I brought this to everybody's attention April 2015. It's July 2016. Can someone here on this council tell me what has been done over the last 15 months that shows any progress or improvement? The mayor claims that I and others are using this as a political game. I can assure you that is not the case for me, and it's not political for me. I've been bringing this up, and I wasn't up for re-election last year. This library situation is a travesty to our taxpayers. Their money is being held while we are forced to continue to budget more money for the library year after year. I encourage each of my council members and colleagues to join me in getting this library board to deliver what is right to the taxpayer. Get involved in this as much as I have been involved, and you will see what I am seeing. Let's stop kicking the can down the road and get this taken care of now. Rest is progress.
Mr. Valenzuela?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. Tomorrow I'll be attending the first of two graduations for our junior police academy. It was such a success last year that our police department offered 2 sessions this year. One is completing this week. The second will start on Monday and finish a week from Friday. And especially in light of the tragic events last week in Dallas, it is really encouraging to see the interest that our students have in the profession of policing. It is a very important part of our community, having a strong police force, and I'm sure the students are getting a very good overview of the profession, what is required, and why it's important to our community. So I look forward to meeting the graduates tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock. And also related to the police, I don't think we have another meeting until August 4th, right? So on August 2nd, Tuesday, August 2nd, is National Night Out. And National Night Out recognizes our law enforcement and the importance of having a police-community partnership in fighting crime. I won't be able to be there. I'll be away on the 2nd, but I encourage everybody to come out and support our police department and our first responders in the fire department and ambulance corps as well, the volunteers. And then finally, prayers go out to the citizens of France. Today there was a terrible attack that appeared to be terrorist-related, and it's just disheartening to see this happening on a regular basis. Hopefully, we'll go on the offensive soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Coletti?
Thank you, Mayor. Tonight, this council passed Resolution R-266-16 in our consent agenda, and basically, we authorize the execution of exemption status for Elmwood Park firefighters. I just want to read the criteria. Whereas active members of the fire department who have served 7 years or more on active duty and who have for 7 or more years attended 60% of fires and all fire drills shall be entitled to a certificate of exemption. And from what I understand, that's like reaching a plateau where you're, the State Firemen's Association, you're now a member of it. So I want to congratulate those 3 people. We have the father of one of them in the audience here tonight, Peter Chewinski, Samantha Chavasta, and Dino Valenti. Nice job. We appreciate the fact that you've reached this point and stay the course. Speaking about our fire department, recently battled a dust fire at the paper mill section of the Markel building site. To stay on top of this fire, Chief Pressler exhausted all his mutual aid partners. Our police force and ambulance were all on hand in full force. The very hot fire and smoke lasted approximately 4 hours, creating $1 million worth of damage. Fire Lieutenant Matt Hoffer was taken to the hospital experiencing smoke inhalation. He was released the same day and is doing fine. Regarding JIF, our joint insurance fund, at the last meeting, it was reported that claims are down. This is good news because claims down mean surplus increases. Surplus up means premiums go down or stay flat. It's good, right?
Good, excellent.
Our rec board meeting was canceled due to lack of a quorum in June. Hopefully, we're going to get together in July. Summer camp is running smooth. The use of St. Leo's is helping tremendously. Some minor problems to be expected. The spray ground is now reopened after some repairs. They had a water tank that sprung a leak, and the surface in the park itself had to be repaired. Recreational soccer for 3rd to 8th grade boys and girls is now open. Back to you, Mayor.
Thank you. In relation to Mr. Dombrowski's report, the architect actually came in and appeared before the entire board, gave out plans, and if there are any questions, they could have been asked at that meeting, and many of them were. He expects to go out for bid on the library within the next month or so. In fact, I think he said in July. I don't know if that's going to happen, but it'll be certainly in August. And lastly, he mentioned something about a molar maneuver. It's called a veto. It's called a veto. It's not a maneuver. It's allowed by law. Do want to indicate to you that we have been told by the Department of Transportation that we have $155,000 that's been granted to us to do Section 10 of the Boulevard. That's Phase 2, and that's the area from Falmouth Avenue up to, I think it's Washington or Lincoln Street. So that'll be done later this year, and ladies and gentlemen, all the roads that you've seen paved so far this year have been grants or how we've worked out situations with public service to pave all those roads. We haven't paid for any of that, and there are going to be more roads paved that we're not paying for, although we did pass an ordinance to pave a certain amount of roads with our money. So we're getting a lot done with, I don't want to say free money because it's all taxpayers' money, but it's coming from various sources and not necessarily ours. If there's anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard, please raise your hand and come up.
You got some tan there, Rich.
Part job and part down the shore. Mayor, Council, Rich Trowinski, 42 Walnut Street. On the library issue, I've been up here a number of times speaking to the public and to the mayor and council about the library. I'm on there a little over a year now, finally. Yes, we did get a set of plans recently. It was kind of sneaky because it came into a meeting, I knew the architect was coming in, and I've been asking for the plans to be sent to the board members and myself before the meetings and as soon as we get them. Now, you know as well as I do, Bob, you get a set of plans. You can't digest them in 10 minutes or an hour until you take them back and review them. Furthermore, these plans have nothing but just basic layout. We're not into structure or anything like that, or the drainage issues. Soup to nuts, we don't know the total cost as far as moving the books yet. As far as the drainage that has to be done to correct the drainage system that was never connected. Be that as it may, I still am disappointed, and I still think it's a travesty because I challenged this council last time. I challenged the library board. We have 2.2 million roughly in that account. I don't see the criteria in the numbers, and Mr. Monsino, you can back me on this. We went through these numbers back 7 years ago to show the need for an addition. We do need to improve the library. It could have been done 7 years ago and a lot quicker and bring it into the new century. However, be that as it may, like it is now, and like Mr. Dombrowski said, things get thrown around. And also, if you call it the Mullen maneuver, when you vetoed that, the new board came, the new council came in, so they didn't have a chance to override the veto. And so you're back to square one. The sad part about it is the taxpayer is going to put all $2 million into a library that could be done for $1 million. And I beg to differ with the architect. I had a couple rounds with him. In my expertise as a builder, developer, and engineer, that the addition, to revamp that library to the new century would cost more than to put that addition. I beg to differ, guys. And we haven't even explored that, to be honest with you. Thank you.
Anyone else who wishes to speak? If not, I'll close the public portion of the meeting. Mr. Kaczmarek?
Mayor, we need to go into executive session for a variety of matters tonight, whereas the Open Public Meetings Act, PL 1975, Chapter 231, permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas this public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, and whereas the governing body wishes to discuss personnel within the police department relative to the table of organization, litigation regarding the Council on Affordable Housing, and personnel within the Recreation Department. Minutes will be kept, and once the matter involving the confidentiality of the above no longer requires that confidentiality, then the minutes can be made public. Now, therefore, to go into executive session.
Motion, please. So moved. Mr. Coletti and Mr. Boncino, any discussion? Call the roll, please.
On roll call, Councilmembers Coletti?
Yes.
Turto is absent. Dombrowski?
Yes.
Jan Domenico is absent. Martino is absent. Boncino?
Yes.
Motion to enter into executive session passes, and Mayor will adjourn right from executive session because there'll be no reason to come back for any further action this evening.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going into executive session in the back room. We appreciate you all attending our meeting, and you're always welcome to come in. Thank you.
I need the two.